All right, everyone, what is up? Divine Hood here. Merry Christmas Eve to those who celebrate it. And let's get into some very important analysis that's happening here on the charts the past day. But first of all, one thing that I do want to cover, I want to cover something about scams because the crypto market, there's so many scammers that are looking any way possible to get your money from you. And in my comments on every single one of my videos, we've been seeing these. They'll give you a nice comment, and then they say, "Hey, I've got a wallet," and then they'll give their 12-word passphrase, and they say, "How can I monetize it?" or "How can I transfer them?" Most likely, this is a scam. Actually, I'm 99.9% sure this is some sort of scam to try to get you. Maybe they're going to act like they don't know what they're doing, and then they try to get your seed phrase somehow or get your money from you. So don't fall for this kind of stuff, you guys. I left this up here, but I'm going to start removing these posts because that is scams. So I just wanted to do that at the beginning of the video so you all are aware of that. Don't fall for it. Do not ever give your seed phrase out to anybody, your private seed phrase or your private address out to anybody. They're going to take your coins from you. You will never see them again. Okay, so going on to Bitcoin here. Yesterday, I was covering this key descending channel. It was like we've been in it for the past 2 days. We kind of just been chopping down, and we also have these double flash crash bottoms at 92K. And you can see we also front ran it. We hit the bottom of the channel, front ran the flash crash bottoms again. So it looks like 92K is being really well defended by the big guys. They do not want Bitcoin to drop below 92K. For whatever reason, they want to hold that level. They, probably don't want to see that bearish continuation of the flash crashes. So, and this is on Coinbase chart because Bybit did go lower. Bybit did take that liquidity. You can see Bybit's wick on the flash crash went much lower, and it did take 92. So, but I'll cover this channel as well in just a second. All right, so here's what we have on Bitcoin. We have this descending channel that we've been trading in for the past few days. And remember yesterday, I told you guys I moved it because originally I had the channel like this, and we were trading that. But when we broke it to the upside, came back down, and I said the bottom part was the important part anyways. That's our supports that we're hitting and bouncing from. But I moved this channel high up to this high here because you can see that we hit it once here. We came up to it again for a second time, rejected, but we held the midline last night, started to form a sideways consolidation range for a bit. And then this morning we started to pump up. We broke the channel with volume to the upside. So remember how I talked about descending and ascending channels? 63 to 68% of the time, these will break. Like a descending channel will break to the upside, and an ascending channel will break to the downside. So, of course, we were probably expecting a break here to form a bigger range from after. We could pull the range from here, or we could pull the range from here. And I'll show you guys that real quick here. So after this kind of big wick action happened, we started going sideways. So you could pull a range from here, and you can see that it's a pretty nice range that we've been respecting. POC rejected us. I showed that a couple days ago in a couple videos. We dropped. And then earlier today, after we bounced from the bottom of the channel, we were able to kind of hold the value area low. We were chopping kind of within it and pumped up to the top. But one of the biggest key things that is happening right now, I'm going to go ahead and hide this smaller channel, clean up the chart a little bit. You can see here how a few days ago we broke this much bigger ascending channel that Bitcoin has been trading in since November 11th. We hit the top of it, we rejected, we lost it, came back up for a bearish backtest on the daily, rejected, came back down. Now we're coming back up for a higher time frame backtest because on the daily chart, if we zoom out to the daily chart, you can see that first backtest was pretty much right away. So oftentimes on a daily trend like this, like a trend that we've been in for a month, you'll see a lower time frame backtest right away to confirm rejection, and then we'll see a higher time frame backtest again to see if we're going to confirm rejection and continue down, or if we can reclaim it and reestablish the trend. So that is what's happening today. It's a very, very important key backtest that's happening right now. And you can see just a couple hours ago, we pumped up to the top of the channel. We tried to wick into it. We couldn't close the hourly within it, and we're starting to dump. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't make another run to try to get back in it. But right now, it is rejecting us a little bit. And I really, really don't like how we have almost now triple bottoms at this 92K level. That's a lot of liquidity resting there for us to take. even if it's just an SFP of 92K and not even to the 90.6K SFP that I was talking about, we have a lot of liquidity resting there. Actually, we can check the heat map here. Let's see. So this is the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. This is from Binance. Let's go zoom out onto the week here. Let's zoom out actually to the month because November 11th was a month ago. Actually, it's longer than that. Let's see. And Binance did take a lot of that liquidity that Coinbase didn't. Let's check Bybit here. And let's go to the 3-month chart. Okay, so there's not much. I mean, right now, looking at this, there's not a lot of liquidity down there. I'm going to go back to Bybit or Binance real quick, and let's check that. Yesterday, when I was looking, there was some liquidity resting below these two double lows here. Let's zoom in onto the week again, and let's check that out. So obviously, we have the liquidity resting right below the SFP that I posted about in the Discord earlier today. I do think we could come up to SFP that because that's kind of also our horizontal range that I'm going to cover in just a second. And you do see some liquidity resting down here at 92,000 here. So the two main levels of liquidity are above the high, this 99.6 high, and our 92K levels. Now, someone asked me in my comments section, kind of, let's see, where was it? It was about like, is liquidity super important? Do people hunt liquidity in the markets, or can you just continue to your fib extinction targets if you have targets? Well, as we know, or I'll let you guys know if you don't know, liquidity runs the markets. So in any market, not just stocks, but crypto as well, any markets, market makers like to come to take liquidity of traders because they know that a lot of people day trade or swing trade or scalp trade. So they hunt the liquidity before they make their move. If they can hunt this liquidity, take all the liquidity, stop out all the traders that have long these triple lows here, and then make the move up to the next fib extinction, if it's plausible for them to do that, they will do that. The market runs off liquidity. So yes, it is important. And no, that doesn't mean every time we're going to take the liquidity. Sometimes we don't take the liquidity and we continue the trend. But markets run off liquidity because market makers need to stop out those positions. They prey on us pretty much. So prey on retail. So they are going to try to hunt the liquidity and stop it out if it's possible. Okay, so Bitcoin is doing this key back test on the daily time frame of this channel. If we can get back into this channel and reclaim this channel, honestly, that's going to be pretty bullish. Now, one thing we need to watch for is a swing failure pattern of this high that I highlighted earlier today here, I think in Jason Casper's Discord. Jason, bro, I love you so much. Thank you so much for the shout outs and for supporting my stream and helping me grow, man. I appreciate you so much. Not just for that either, man. You know, I really respect you as a person, and you've done so much for me. You're the reason why this YouTube channel has been started is because Jason encouraged me. So you guys, thank you to Jason for that, right? Okay, let me go real quick here into Jason's Discord. I'm going to show you guys real quick on the what I posted earlier today. So I posted earlier today that we broke the descending channel to the upside. We are coming for the bearish back test of the channel on the higher time frame, and that's right when we were kind of doing it. Then I also said it is possible for us to wick back into the channel and take the liquidity of this key high. And we just saw, you guys, that the liquidity is resting above that high right now. We just confirmed that. So there is a lot of liquidity there. And then we could do a fake out on the daily, close the daily below the channel, and then continue down. So that is something that I'm going to be watching for because it's a low volume holiday, swing failure pattern this, and then continue down and maybe just keep ranging here. Who knows? We're just going to watch that to see how it plays out. So one of the things that we can do with this is we can obviously put some alerts on this key high. I think I already have alerts on this one here. No, I have it somewhere. I think it's just hidden. So, and then we can look at this range that's forming, that fixed range pull I showed you. So we're kind of, after this little crash here, we started forming some horizontal price action in this. So this is the relevant price action that we want to be trading for the day. If you're going to be day trading over the next couple days through this week, this is the price action you're going to want to really be studying over that time. And you can obviously trade the value area high, the POC. See, we're bouncing from the VWAP and POC right now. which is it's early, but if this does hold, then that's kind of a bullish sign that we might come up to SFP, these highs. Now, someone else also asked me what an SFP is. SFP is called a swing failure pattern, and Jason calls it a CDW, chickens drinking water. It's his awesome, unique spin on what that trading term is and what that trading setup is. So, what an SFP is it's if people, when we came to this high, people were shorting this high, and it could have been a key level, like it could have been the back test of these prior lows here. You could see that. They'll come up to it, they'll short here and mean to take profit down below. So we have shorts that opened up here, and a swing failure pattern is, say you opened a short here. If a trader knows what they're doing, if they set up a plan ahead of time, they'll put their stop loss a little bit above the high that they shorted, or if they shorted the back test of the line, let's even say they shorted here, they'll put their stop above the high, because if it breaks the high, then your trade is probably wrong and you get out. Your trade setup is probably wrong and you get out. And no one person ever wins all trades. So know that as well. Not even the best traders in the world. It's about probability. And if you can do proper probability with proper risk management, you can be very profitable. So they short the back test here, or short the value area high of this range. They put their stop above this high, because if we break above this high, then we might be continuing higher. But if you break above it, you wick above it, and you close your candle at or below it, that's called a swing failure pattern. So what you're doing is you're coming up to the local swing high here, and this could be like a day trade swing high or a scalp trade swing high. You're coming up, you're stopping out all the traders that shorted this, and then you reverse the price and go back down. So that's a way that market makers will stop out day traders, scalp traders, and possibly even swing traders that on bigger swing levels. Like 92K is a pretty important swing failure pattern possibility now, because we have 3 levels of liquidity resting right around there. So that's what a swing failure pattern is. It'll come up, it'll wick past that high, but close the candle below it, stop out those traders, and then continue with the trend. And our trend is down on a higher time frame still. So that's kind of what a swing failure pattern is. Jason calls it a chickens drinking water, and he has some very, very good content on how to trade swing failure patterns and just what they are in general. So I'd encourage you to go check out Jason's channel on that. I can also make more content on that in the future. All right, so we have the possible swing failure pattern here. We have the possible swing failure pattern at the 92Ks down here, flash crash bottom of Coinbase. And so we are forming this horizontal range here. What we could do now that we're forming this kind of horizontal range is you can take a channel, a parallel channel tool. You can go to the bottom. You could either do it completely parallel like this, and then you can bring it to the high. So we're trading this range here, all this price action here. So this is the price action we want to be watching. Or if what I did here on this chart is I just took the last 2 bottoms. So I took this bottom here, connected to this bottom, bring it up to this high, and you can see the midlines being respected, bounced here, bounced here, bounced here from the midline, lost it, rejected again, tried to come above it, couldn't hold it, rejected, back down to the bottom. And we pretty much came up to the top, but we didn't. Did we SFP here? Let's see. No, we did a double top here as well. Yeah, we barely front ran that. So it is quite possible that we did a double top here and we didn't SFP it. So it's possible that we could come up one more time, hit the top of the channel, SFP that liquidity, and then start to come back down and just continue to range. Because it's a low volume holiday week, it is very possible that Bitcoin just starts to form a larger range here for the week, and maybe even until maybe next Monday, and we might continue whatever trend we're going to establish by then. So, but right now on the higher time frames, the trends are still down. We are starting to see some support develop around these lows here, so that's something we need to be watching for. We did break the key highs here, so on a lower time frame, we are now making higher highs, and let's see if we can come maybe even to the midline to make a higher low and then continue up, or we can continue up from here and then come down. So that's something we need to be watching for on lower time frames. It is Christmas Eve, and tomorrow is probably going to be low. I do think sentiment does play a big part in crypto, especially more than in the stock market. Sentiment is key, and psychology is key. And we know that a lot of families are getting together for the holidays, and some of the crypto bros or the crypto people are probably telling their family about how successful they've been this year with Bitcoin and with crypto. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing a little bit of a pump because other other family members are getting excited about this and buying some crypto themselves. And maybe those crypto people are helping them kind of open up Coinbase accounts or Binance accounts and buy some of this. Now, that's not the main reason why crypto's moving. It's more technical than that, but that is probably a part of it. And we might see that continue tomorrow as well. So we can be looking at this range here. We could be trading this range over the next couple days. We just can do a fixed range volume pull from this range. You can see we are trying to hold the POC of this range. Let's check Coinbase and see if the volume is different on this. So we're going to go here. Actually, let me get that to here. All right. POC is pretty much the same. It's just a smidge lower on Bybit, but you can see we're coming down to the POC and we're trying to hold it. Now on a very low time frame, if we bounce from the POC, but we reject from this value area high, like we're maybe starting to right now, then we might continue down to the midline or even to the value area low there. If we do that, let me zoom out onto the 15-minute chart. What we could do now, if we want to play this range, you could take a fib pull. You do a fib pull from the bottom of the local move here. Let's see here, and then we'll bring it up to the high that we just created. Here, and then so look at the 786 is in alignment with the value area low. That's looking kind of nice. So if we rotate down and you think that Bitcoin's going to keep ranging, you might even want to play a scalp here. You could scalp long it here. You could set your stops below this low here, so you could do something like a long position. You could long the value area low 786 touch, bring it up to the POC. You could put your stops below these little consolidation lows from earlier today. Or if you wanted to play it super safe, you could put your stops below this low here at the bottom of the range. But in that case, you'd want to be shooting for the SFP highs up here and the top of the range. And that's still a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. So that's a good risk reward ratio, a valid trade there. That's something you could be looking for on the next day or two to play out. Another thing we could be looking for here is if we do bounce from this, able to reclaim the value area high, maybe test it, flip it to support, come up for the swing failure pattern. Because remember this level here now, this high here is a key swing failure pattern we need to be looking. We see a lot of liquidity resting right above it here. You see how there's that orange level. That's a lot of liquidity resting right above that. So we could do a kind of fake out here. We could SFP into this channel high, take the liquidity, and then come back down. And then, of course, at that time, what we would do is we'd readjust our fib. And actually, that would be kind of nice because if we readjust our fib to the top of the channel, look how nice it is in alignment with the value area low. So that would be something we'd be watching for as well. That's a possible setup. These are just scenarios that I'm covering. We'll just kind of have to watch the price action as it plays out to see if this is going to happen. But this is kind of what's happening. But Bitcoin did break that key descending channel. I really, really wanted to come take the liquidity at 92K before we broke this channel, but that didn't happen, and it doesn't happen all the time. So we were trading this trend over the past couple days. It held for the fourth time. When it held for that fourth touch, we were able to bust it. And you see when we bust a channel, you often will see volume increased on the explosion out of the channel, and will usually come to sweep at least the second lower high of the channel. Sometimes we'll sweep the highs of the channel, take the entire liquidity of the channel. And that's why if I zoom out onto the daily chart, let me zoom on to the daily. The reason why I'm looking at the 90.6K lows is it's the second lower high of this channel. Let me hide some of this stuff again, clean up this chart. So you can see here that the second lower high of the channel, this 90.6 here, that first low, for second low here. And sometimes you'll come down and you'll sweep the lows of the channel, which is the 85K level. Sometimes you'll sweep 2/3 of the lows. You'll come down to the next lower high and sweep the low of the channel. And that'll kind of create a sort of, it could be like a head and shoulder pattern as well that we're creating. And a head and shoulder pattern is a topping reversal pattern. So something like that, so we'll just watch that. That's too far ahead to tell right now. And right now we're doing a very key back test of the channel to see if this candle closes below the channel today and starts to reverse. I almost guarantee we're coming for these 92K lows, even if it's just an SFP of the lows. If we close this daily candle strong and we're able to re-enter this channel, then we're probably busting up to the bigger important fib channel target. And I can actually cover that real quick because that's really an important level to be watching. So let me just hide some of this stuff. Let me clean up the chart here. All right. And so I'm going to go into my macro technical analysis. Fib channel here. All right. And actually, I'm going to hide this channel as well. All right. I'm going to zoom back out onto, I'll do the 3-day chart here. This entire fib channel has been a channel, a trend that's being respected the entire bull market down from the lows of 16K. So you can see here, I pulled this fib channel from the 16K lows to the next lower high to the first high that we made. So that's the 3 pivots of this channel. And we rejected from the channel, which was also the golden pocket macro pull from the all-time high to the lows that we created. We dropped over 10K in a day to the midline. We're able to hold the midline. Then we pumped up to the 1.618. That was that 74K all-time high that we made in September or March. And I did short that as well. I shorted it. I took profit at the beginning of the channel here, though. I should have wrote it a little bit more, but that's okay. And then you can see now, once again, we're coming up. If we can hold, even if we do come down to retest this channel again, which is about 85K, depending on when we hit it, 85 to 87K, which is the 87K is a daily level, and the 85K is the liquidity of this ascending channel that we've just been seeing the past since November 11th. So we might see something like, if we reject this bearish backtest today, come down to 85, 87K, and then come up to test the 1.618 of the channel. Now, right now it's around 113K, but the more time that passes, the higher that resistance is going to get, because obviously this is a dynamic resistance. It changes with time. It gets a little bit higher every day that passes. So let's say that we do it somewhere around here. That's going to be 121K if it takes till the end of January. That's January 31st. But we'll just watch that as time passes and as price action develops. But this fib channel has been so respected the entire bull market push up. That's why I'm really watching these levels, and we could even pump to the two fib extinction level, and that's around 145K, which I have some really other key targets around 145.5. I do think the bull market could top out there, or at least we could see a much bigger correction from 145.5. Okay, so that's kind of Bitcoin here. I'm going to go to the total market cap chart real quick. And let me zoom back in onto the 4-hour chart, because we are seeing some interesting developments here. Yesterday in my video, I covered how we were kind of chopping around this pitchfork midline. And you can see yesterday we were able to hold, we were chopping right around here as I was making the video. We were able to kind of hold the value area low of this range that I had pulled yesterday. I said to be watching this range. If we can hold the value area low, we're going to break up higher. So we're holding the value area low. We were able to reclaim that pitchfork midline. And the second we reclaimed it, you can see how we had that big volume push up all the way up. We broke this value area of this range. So that's in some ways a pretty good sign that we broke this value area here. And now we're coming back down for the bullish back test to confirm whether we want to flip this range to support. And it looks like right now on the hourly candle, Bitcoin is doing a successful backtest. We hit it to the dollar and we're pushing up. So we could come up and we could come up for these highs. We also did the double high here, which you guys know personally, I don't like those double highs. I like to at least wick the liquidity and make a double high, but after taking liquidity, not before. So that's the total market cap chart. On total 3 chart, we are once again coming up. Remember, I talked about in yesterday's video, we had the first bearish backtest of the upper band of this pitchfork after losing it. Part of the reasons we're dropping is because we came to the top of the pitchfork for altcoins. We were ejected from the top of the pitchfork. We tried to hold these bands for 3 days. We wicked below, but we couldn't close. We got one more push up to the local golden pocket. We rejected the local golden pocket, came down. We didn't SFP the liquidity of those lows, which is also a reason why I was wanting to see a little bit lower. But we're coming up for a second back test, a bearish back test of this pitchfork upper band here. So let me zoom back into the 1 hour. You can see how we're coming back up again for that band, hitting it, and so far we're rejecting, but that doesn't mean we won't eventually chop here for a little bit. We could do something like come down to the VWAP and then break back up into it and then continue to range in here. So that's something we need to be watching for. I still would personally rather see us make one more dump down with Bitcoin and with altcoins. Altcoins, we could see the flush down to the pitchfork midline, take the liquidity, those double lows, and then really start to see altcoin season rocket off. That would give us some great opportunity to buy some altcoins. And then you look at the altcoins for support, which ones are at good support when we're down here as well. You could buy that. So that's total 3. Now I'm going to go into just 2 altcoins that were requested in the chat, in the comments. The first one is Hbar. Okay, so Hbar, I've looked at this before, but I haven't looked at it in a while. So let me zoom out and see what we got here. We're going to go start on the weekly chart here. All right, so one thing I see right away is we are coming up. We had a weekly resistance that we might have just hit today. Let's see here. So I would look at that weekly level right there. That was a fresh weekly. We might be tapping it right now and rejecting from it. And then, of course, we do have the weekly open that happened here, but I'm not going to put that on the chart because we're only on a Tuesday. Okay, let me get rid of this weekly here. I did have this pitchfork down here, this smaller pitchfork that you can see how well it had been respected here. We broke it to the downside. So what we could do now is, and we did reject from the midline of the pitchfork on the weekly, but we held it also. So this pitchfork is still being respected. I'm going to hide this for a second though, and we're going to look at a bigger pitchfork. So we're going to go to the lows, bear market lows, to this last big high that was created. We could pull it down to this low. Let's bring that to an original pitchfork. Okay, so we broke that pitchfork. So one thing that I see right away with this is we did break that pitchfork to the upside. We're coming back down for a bullish retest of that pitchfork, and so far it's holding. We've seen some wicks to it. We did kind of close one daily like below it, but right away we opened up and reclaimed it. Momentum waves bottomed out with the green dot. Money flow starting to rise on the daily. That could tell us that we would be coming for that level. This weekly is going to be a level that we need to watch if we do reject from that weekly. The all-time high is up here as well. But I do see, now someone else asked me, the same person asked me about bull flags and bear flags, and if they're respected in crypto. We definitely see more fake outs in crypto of trading patterns than in the stock market. The stock market generally has bigger liquidity as well. Not obviously Bitcoin's got pretty big liquidity and some of the big altcoins do. But with these trading patterns, what you want to be watching for is you want to be watching for volume confirmation. Nobody that trades patterns that I've seen except for Bitcoin Hyper watches volume confirmations on these patterns. And if you don't see volume confirmation, that's a way you could tell that it is a fake out. So like say we're doing this bull flag here. So we could pull the 2 lower highs. We bring it down to the bottom. Let's see, I'd bring it down to probably this first bottom here. And I'll zoom in onto the 4-hour chart. So we can see here that you could even say it's a bull flag from this low here, and then we're starting to form our flag. You'd want to be looking at, of course, you want to see volume increasing in the push up on the flag. So you'd go to your indicators. You just turn on volume here. And look at the volume's increasing during the whole flag. So that's good. When we get to the top of the flag, then you want to see volume from the top of the flag. You want to see volume decreasing as the flag forms, which we do see volume decreasing as the flag is forming. So that is a sign that this descending channel is going to break to the upside. And sure enough, look at, we're breaking it to the upside. And oftentimes, if you break a descending channel to the upside, and even if it's a bull flag fake out, you'll come for the highs of this, the start of the channel here, the liquidity of the highs. So sometimes the bull flag breaks out and continues. Sometimes we just kind of wick this, we SFP the high and then come back down. We don't know that quite yet. Now, on the breakout, you do want to see volume starting to increase. And look at, on the breakout right now, we are starting to see volume increase. I would want to see a little bit more come in soon, though. Maybe if we break this weekly, you'd want to see volume come in soon to that all-time high. Oh, that's not the all-time high, excuse me. Just that high that we created the other day on December 2nd. 2nd or 3rd. Yeah, 2nd here. So that's something you'd be looking for on this Hbar. We could now, if you wanted to zoom in and play just this local price action, we could do a couple things. We could do a fixed range volume pull of the relevant price action. Always on fixed range volume profiles, you pull the relevant price action. Let me clean this chart up so you guys can see this better. So you can see, and I'm going to hide this bigger pitchfork as well. You can see that we're at the value area high and the weekly. So this is definitely a possible rejection area. We could also do a fib pull. We could do a fib pull from the very start to the lows, which, let's see, this one here. And we would look at the golden pocket first and foremost. And sure enough, the golden pocket is right in confluence with the weekly and value area high. So this could be a rejection point for, we are at resistance, multiple confluences of resistance in this little box here. And this is a level where we could look to maybe short this if we think it's not going to break this, like this little area here. And then you would take it down. What you could do there is you could even take your first profit at the POC or the value area low, but you could do a fib pull now as well. On this, you could go from the local bottom to the high that we just created, and look at the golden pocket is right there at that pretty close confluence with the value area low. So that would be a take profit on a scalp play or a day trade. Yeah, so let's continue looking at this. Let me get rid of the volume here. Let's zoom back out onto the daily. Okay, so anytime you form a range on a higher time frame, I'm just going to go to the 3-day chart to make this a little bit better. You can see we were kind of ranging up in this area. So you can also look at past volume levels that were really good. You can see this volume level here, this value area high of this range is kind of where we rejected from on December 2nd. And also the POC is where we're kind of holding. This POC is kind of where we're holding, we're seeing some wicks below, but we're holding it overall support. So that works there. We could do a range pull. Let me get rid of some of this stuff now. All right. So I do see kind of like the double bottom of the range. So you could do a channel from the lows. We could just shift it here. We could pull it up to the all-time high. And you could play this range here because you can see this range has been really respected, bounce from the midline. Even though, you guys, even though I created the channel based off of this low, trading is about sentiment and psychology. So even though I created the trend of price action that was before this, after this happened, you can see that past price action will still respect it because it's based off of a sentiment in the market and trend in the market. So this horizontal range is something to be looking at. A level to come down to would be the midline there, and we could also do a fib pull from the last low, last big low to this high, and you can see that the golden pocket, let's look at the 786. 786 is a bit below that, but I do like that golden pocket because I'm going to show you guys this. So golden pocket here, and our last prior highs, like that were before this other big push up, this high here, not that high, sorry, here is in confluence with that golden pocket. So say we reject from the weekly now, or even come up to SFP this high at 39 cents, then we could see a push down to come to this levels, test our prior highs into our golden pocket, and then continue higher, take the as all-time high, and then see what happens from there. That's something to be watching for on Hbar. That's kind of far out, so we just got to kind of watch this price action, this lower local price action as it develops. Just different possibilities for trades. You guys always want to be mapping out both high time frame swing trades as well as low time frame trades as well. The high time frame levels you can buy on spot and ride it up. Low time frame levels you can obviously scalp it, short and long. You can just play the range, or you could do both. That's what I try to do, a little bit of both. But I don't trade too many altcoins unless they're higher liquidity, or unless really I don't trade too many of them. So all right, so that's kind of what we're looking at on Hbar. You could do a couple other things here. We could zoom back out to the daily chart. You could look at the anchored VWAP from the lows. So I would probably pull an anchored VWAP from this low here. Okay, yep, you can see that we're holding the anchored VWAP. We've tested it 3 times. Tested it here, bounced to the dollar. Tested it here, wick below it, but close above. Tested it again, hold it above. It acted as support. and we're continuing higher, we could take the anchored VWAP even on the local range that we're playing now. You could take it from there. And if we zoom in, it looks like we're breaking it to the upside. So that's good. Um, yeah, yeah, I wouldn't pay too much attention to that one. You could take it also from the all-time high. We'll check that out real quick. All right, we've broken that by a bunch. But you can see this anchored VWAP from the all-time high. If it does take some time to get to this midline, the midline's in pretty close confluence with that channel midline. Actually, no, it's not. Excuse me on that. Real quick here, let's check this out. Let's set this to log scale because we are on the log chart. And then let's go back to the golden pockets. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the log golden pocket on this one here. So yeah, 17.1 cents is a level. If we do drop to that, you could be looking, and I know this is kind of a big range, but from 17 to the midline, you could be looking there. 17 to 15 it looks like is a level that I'd be interested in buying spot if we come down there, ride it up to the all-time highs. Let's see. On the weekly, we really aren't seeing, I guess we're kind of seeing equal highs. So it's not weekly bearish divergence, but it's getting kind of close there on borderline of that. Let's go to the daily chart. So yeah, daily chart, we did bottom out on the momentum wave and money flows coming up. So we might break this to the upside. I think we could at least come for 39, the liquidity at the top of this bull flag channel, if this is a bull flag, and SFP that at least, if not come up to the all-time high. So Hbar is looking kind of decent. Let me zoom out one more time and check one more thing. The other maybe possible pitchfork I'd be looking at is from the bear market lows to the first high, the first big high on the weekly, down to the first big low on the weekly, and then we'll change that. Let's just check. So you guys, when I'm checking pitchforks like this, and I'm switching it from a skiff pitchfork to a modified skiff or an inside pitchfork, what I'm doing is I'm just looking at which one is respected the most. Because when you use a tool like this, the general rule of thumb is if price action has been respected in the past, then it's more probable it will be respected in the future. So you check all the different pitchforks to see which one is respected the most. Now, if the modified skiff is respected the most, then I'm going to use that one as my level, my trading levels. If the skiff is, I'll use the skiff. But you check which one. So see, I like this skiff one. You can see the high acted pretty good, the low midline looks pretty good here, and then also you can see how the bullish retest of this is in confluence with those highs on the daily. So if I go back to the daily chart, you can see the last prior highs on the daily that we had here before the big explosive vertical push up. The pitchfork's in pretty close confluence with that. So in that box there, that box of support I drew. So that's something you'd be looking at on Hbar. Hope this helps a little bit. I don't know if you're trading at super small time frame. I would just trade that range that we're in, this up kind of flag range that we're in here. Just trade this. You know, you could be rejecting right now. Right now is a possible level to look for shorts. As far as shorts right now, I don't know if I'd be shorting this because money flow is increasing here pretty strong on the 30 minutes. We don't really see bearish divergence because this high here on the 30-minute chart, and we're not making a higher high yet, and momentum's still curving to the upside. Let's go to the 1 hour here. Okay, yeah, no bearish divergences on the 1 hour, no bearish divergence on 30-minute. Let's go on to the 12-minute chart. I do like trading the 12-minute chart. That's Jason showed me that. That's really cool. 15-minute works as well too. Yeah, so if we do make another high up above this little local high that we had earlier today, you could starting to be formed some bearish divergences, but money flow is rising again here. I wouldn't be shorting this. I don't see proper confirmation. Even though we're at resistance and we could drop from here, I don't see proper confirmation. Let's go on to the 4 hour. 4 hour, it is topping out, but money flow does look like it's still increasing. Now, one thing that Jason has shown us in the past is when these uh, bands here are together, then you could it's oftentimes a reversal spot. Like you can see how the bands came together here and we dumped to the downside. The bands came together here. We started our dump down. So the bands are coming together here and momentum's topping out. So if you did decide to take this short from here, maybe SFP that local high from earlier today, and then you'd come down, I would probably at least TP1 some of like 20% of your trade at the POC because it does look like this is wanting to continue higher. All right, that's Hbar. The next one is Velodrome. Velodrome. Okay, this looks like kind of a newer coin, huh? I wonder if there's more. All right, this looks like a better chart just because there's more price action on it. Let's see. Let's go to Bybit's chart. No. All right, I'm going to use MEXC chart because it's just got the most price action in history, it looks like. Which one was I just using? USD. Let me check Coinbase here. Okay, Coinbase looks pretty good. All right, so we'll zoom out to the weekly. Look at key weekly levels. So we would obviously want to choose, we would mark out our weekly resistance, which is up here. It's our weekly. And we have a fresh weekly down here. I don't know if we'll get that far, but we'll mark it out anyway. A weekly level. We can zoom in onto the daily chart here. We can mark out our dailies. So we do have this daily, which looks pretty nice here. Nope, not there. Here, our daily. And then we even have this daily here, more locally. We have the daily in confluence with the weekly here, but I would just keep that weekly there for now. We even do have a daily up here, which looks like it could be a golden pocket pull as well. So let's do a golden pocket pull from the high to this low. Actually, no, but we do have that weekly liquidity resting there. Okay, I'm just going to leave that for now. All right, so I'm just going to mark those levels for now. Now I'm going to zoom back out to the weekly, and I'm going to look for some trends here. We could do an anchored VWAP from this last low before the push up on the weekly. I'll zoom in and look at that in a second. And then you could even do a pitchfork from this low to the high, back down to the low. Nope, not that low. There. I like that one better. Okay, so we'll look at that here. Let's go zoom now into the 4-hour chart. Pitchforks are really great, you guys, to find targets and resistance and price discovery. So that's, I'm going to make a tutorial on it. I just want to get a little bit better at editing, so it's a little bit more fancy and professional looking. But okay, so zooming in on the local on Velodrome. Wow, look at that sucker. That's a pretty big buy there. You can see this red line here is the pitchfork midline. You can see how well it's been respected. We rejected from it here, came back down, obviously pumped all the way up to the upper band here. But we are coming back down and it's trying to hold, which is also a daily level now that we have. But I do believe that daily, let's see how recent that daily is from. So just yesterday, really, yesterday and the day before. And then there's our anchored VWAP. You can see the anchored VWAP from that weekly low that I pulled is here. And we're trying to hold that. So this chart, just because this giant pump here that happened kind of messes up the chart a little bit, but you could do a fib or a channel. Let's see how this looks. Okay, we had the channel there and we are breaking it to the upside, but we're not seeing much follow through. So that's kind of a concerning signal. After a huge pump like this, we might start to form a range. So we might start to just, start forming a range here for a little bit and then continue up. We could do a fixed range volume profile pull from right after the big impulse. So right after that, if you bring it to the next 4-hour candle, you look at this and look at the value area low is holding. And so we're pushing up. You see we have internal liquidity resting at the POC. That could be a level to look for a resistance there. Just that's internal liquidity. I don't like that as much as I like the value area high in alignment with the weekly. So if we do come back down again, you guys, to this daily level, this is a fresh daily in confluence with this pitchfork midline. And then also the anchored VWAP is pretty close. We could come back here. We could long there. You could TP1 here just in case. But say we break it to the upside, we flip it. TP2 at the value area high and the weekly. And then we can continue to range. That's a little scalp trade you could be looking for there. As far as if we keep pumping now, you could be looking for a short from the VWAP, or not from the VWAP, from the POC, as well as this internal liquidity grab. But I would want to confirm the internal liquidity grab, maybe a 1 minute or 5 minute wick above, but close below. Then you could short that, put your stop above the high that was just created. We could also do a fib pull from this high here to the lows. We could look at the golden pocket. Okay, golden pocket is pretty close to the liquidity of this high, internal high here. So that is something you could also be looking for, a golden pocket rejection here. SFP. Actually, the 786 is probably better though, because the 786, yeah, look at that. 786 weekly and value area high of this range, all right there. So 25.2 cents-ish is a level I'd be looking for a short at. If you're going to short up there, you do want to see proper confirmation, maybe 12-minute bear divs, 15-minute bear divs, 6-minute bear divs. Money flow, you'd probably want it to starting to be rolling over and going down. And then if we come back down to, what is that, 17.5 cents, you could long that. If you long this, 17.5 in daily here, you do TP1 at the POC, but TP2 could be up here. Leave maybe 20% to ride. I'd put my stops below the value area low and below these lows here. But look at that. That's a great risk, 6.4 risk to reward ratio trade right there. That could be a really good long to take. So you do something like this. Long here, bring it up TP1, TP2, and then either play the range, or if it continues higher, you could do TP3 at the band or at this the highs that were created from that big pump. These highs up here, there's probably some liquidity resting up there that you could look at. And then also we do have the top of the pitchfork, but that's pretty far away. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at on Velodrome. There's not too much else I would look at considering here. I'd just play this little range for now. Let's zoom back out onto the weekly one more time, and I'll take one more look. All right, I'm going to hide this pitchfork real quick, and we are going to look at a descending channel, or it's almost a parallel channel really, but you could be looking at something like this. It's not super nice, but we do have that second daily around the midline. If we did crash down to there, about that 13.6, that's a level you could be looking along as well. Let's do a fib pull from the low to the high. Okay, yeah, look at that, you guys. 786. So if we really did start to dump, this could be a level to look for too. 786, channel midline, daily level at like 13.6, and then we might ride it up, depending on what the market's doing. So it's too far to tell on that, but that's just a level to watch, that 13.5, 13.6 level on there. Okay, that's Velodrome. That's my update for today, guys. Just doing that. Hope you have a Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate you guys subscribing. I do want to teach you guys. Let me know in the comments what you want to see, what you want to hear. I am going to start making tutorials eventually. I do want to plan to start live streaming eventually too. I want to get a little bit more set up before I start doing that, but I plan to. So thank you guys so much for your support. Merry Christmas. Hope you all get to spend time with family. And Jason, big shout out to you, bro. Love you guys.